Hey everyone, my name is Sean Cecil from the Oculus Institute, and today I'm going to teach you how to make passive income. Okay, so one thing I hear people asking me about a lot is they say that they want to make passive income. And there are absolutely ways to do that, and I'm going to explain exactly how to do that. There are 3 different ways I'm going to go into. But before we do, I want to give you a little bit of a warning. Most people's concept of passive income is completely screwed. What they're thinking is, hey, listen, I can do a little bit of work, and then I earn a bunch of money without doing anything for the rest of my life, right? And that's just not the way the world works. If passive income is being used as a means to try to avoid work or avoid putting in effort or avoid contributing value, that you're just not going to be able to make it. And there will be people who will promise you that you can if you just invest this little amount in their thingamabob, and then, especially with MLM, and then next thing you know, you're a millionaire and you're sitting on the beach and you're working 5 hours a week and it's great. All scams. Don't fall for any of that stuff, right? If you really want to make passive income, it's always going to take a substantial amount of effort or a substantial amount of value. It can totally be done, right? If you're willing to put in the work on the front end, you can totally do it. And I'm going to teach you how, but don't make the mistake of going for that kind of get rich quick, get rich easy kind of thing. And if that's what you think your concept of passive income is, I would seriously re-examine A, what makes you believe that the world works that way, and B, why you're so attached to not working. So that being said, let's take a look at real ways to make real passive income that can really sustain somebody for an entire full-time income worth. So the first way that you can do this is you can make investments in things that yield an income. Now this requires a lot of capital. So the work here comes in building the capital to make the investments. Now, let's say, you accumulate $500,000. You can go and you can buy a couple, small duplex kind of houses, generally in the $100,000 to $200,000 range, right? Go get 3 of those, right? And then rent those out to people, right? And now you have people paying you, $1,000 per door, right? People who, might not be able to buy a house or get a mortgage, their credit might not be there, but they've got the income, they're paying that money for rent. They can be paying you rent instead of paying some big apartment complex rent. And now you have a reasonable passive income coming in. And you can even, hire a property management firm who will take 10 to 15% of collected rent as their fee. And then you don't even have to touch it. You just sit there, you own the place, you watch the money come in, you might have to pay for repairs every now and then. It's all good, right? But as long as you have the capital, you can make that kind of investment. You can also invest in other things, right? You can invest in, for example, stocks. People get really focused on dividends and they're like, oh, well, the dividends is the income, but you don't really need to worry about that, because what you really look at is the total returns. If it's growing really fast and it pays no dividends, you just sell some of the stock and you take the money out. It's all equivalent anyway, right? But you can use capital in its various forms and various investments, whether those be public or private, to generate a passive income. The second way that you can generate a passive income is that you can build a company, or you can get equity in a company that then pays out its revenues. So for example, you can start a company, you can build it up over a period of 5 years or 7 years, and then you can turn around and you can sell a portion of that company to somebody else. You get a nice payday and you can keep 30% or whatever, and then that just comes in. You just get your dividends paid out from the company, you get your share of the profits paid out by the company on a regular basis, right? And that's a form of passive income. The work there comes in building a company. Entrepreneurship is hard, right? I'm not gonna lie, right? I've had some other videos on different aspects of entrepreneurship, and I'll be doing more in the future. But entrepreneurship is difficult. I would know. I'm on my 10th company now. I've got 3 that are currently active. So it's not an easy game. But if you build a company and you make something that's real, that has sustained value, that's something that you can live off of for a long period of time. Like right now, one of the things I'm doing, I'm working on a software as a service company, right? I'm in the process, I'm funding the development, I'm working with the developer. It's a lot of work, right? But when it's done, and I have people coming in, assuming that the launch goes off correctly and the marketing plan is sound and all those other things, now I'm looking at what's essentially a passive income stream coming in from subscriptions ad infinitum, right? Finally, the third way that you can make passive income is intellectual property. So if you've ever watched Shark Tank, Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, always likes to ask, is there a patent on this? The reason he likes to ask that is because if you have intellectual property, if you have whether that be a patent for some kind of process or technology, or whether that be a copyright on, say, a book, right? Like J.K. Rowling makes almost all of her money off of the royalties paid on her copyrights of Harry Potter, right? Like if you create some kind of intellectual property where people have to pay you royalties to use it, you don't have to do anything. They'll go off, they'll do all the marketing, they'll do all the sales, and you just get your percentage, right? And those royalties can be anywhere from less than 1% to more than 10%, right? It depends on the value of the IP and other alternatives and all that kind of stuff, right? Now the challenge comes in the creativity to actually come up with something that's really that valuable, and the effort to go and get the IP protection. And I don't know if any of you guys have ever written a patent. I've written multiple patents, for myself, for companies that I've worked at, and now I'm not a lawyer, but I would start off writing the patent, and then I would work in conjunction with a lawyer, because the transfer of that IP into patent form requires a subject matter expert and a lawyer to review. Right? And so all of that's a lot of work, right? You got to come up with the idea, you got to work with the attorney, you got to go through the process, you got to get the intellectual property, you've got to get someone who's interested in licensing it. That's a lot of work. But if you do that, right, you're good. I know a guy, he has several hundred patents. I think he may be coming up on 1,000 patents in the supplement space, right? And he lives in Costa Rica. He doesn't really have to do anything because he just gets paid royalties from a large fraction of supplement companies that exist. Some way or another are using one of his hundreds of patents, and so he just lets the royalty checks come in. So everyone, those are the 3 ways that you can make passive income. You can do it by investing your capital. You can do it by building a business and retaining a share of that business, or you can do it by creating intellectual property. All are a lot of work, but the rewards are totally there. Hey everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. If there's something that resonated with you, maybe a new connection that you made, or some information that shifted your perspective, if you found value here, then I want to give you one last gift. So I've put together a free diagnostic that I call a checkup with the career doctor. Short list of questions, and as you answer them, it's going to give you a readout of where you stand on the important metrics of career fulfillment, right? How happy are you with your job and how good a fit is it, right? Financial success, which we all know, and then internal alignment, which is your level of inner peace and the inner resources that you have to bring to creating the life that you want. Additionally, it's also going to show you which areas you can improve on to get those metrics moving in the right direction, as well as how can we at the Oculus Institute help you make progress. So it's totally free, 100%. All you have to do is just go to www.oculusinstitute.com/purpose quiz, right? No spaces, no dashes, just oculusinstitute.com. That's OCULUSINSTITUTE.com/purpose quiz. And you can take it totally for free. You'll get a free report sent to you, and then at the end, it will give you some next steps of what you can do to reach out so that we can help you create the career of your